I had an interesting conversation with just a short conversation with one of my subscribers and another YouTuber, and it has to do with Satanism and what Satanism is. And you know, biblically speaking, Satan is the most brilliant being under the Creator himself. Okay, and Satan is a very powerful being. Okay, and biblically speaking, um, he is the father of lies. Okay, that's what he uses to control people and deceive them away from the truth. Okay, so that's the biblical definition of Satan. Now, you have these Satanists that um, believe that Satan is a good being, a being of light, and that the God in the Bible is really the bad guy. And I can see why they might say that. I don't blame them in a lot of ways, because what they see around them is Christianity and Judaism, which is the two main groups that believe, who say they believe in this deity, Yahweh, in the Bible. And even Muslims who say they believe in this Abrahamic God and even Jesus Christ. The three biggest deceptions are the ones that are saying they follow this God. So I don't blame these people for thinking that the God that they follow is the bad guy, because in a way he is. In a way, this God that they follow, the one that thinks Israel is good, and that you know even Muhammad is good. Like these Muslims who also believe in this Abrahamic God. So I can see why they're against that, and so am I, because I believe some of these real sort of true Satanists believe in good in a certain sense. They want to do the right thing, and they're looking for the truth, but they think the God of the Bible, Yahweh, is the bad guy. So they're looking for the next best thing, I suppose. But that is the deception, because what Satan wants to do is tell you the most amount of truth possible to take you away from the truth of Jesus. Now, if you think about it, the ones that are in control now, they kill Jesus, right? They hate Jesus, and they've expressed that, and they've also, you know, permeated their churches and their synagogues, and their just with all this satanic symbology, and you see it in the architecture. Um, it's written in their books. Whether it's Kabbalah or whether it's the Catholic Church. You see these old Catholic churches, and even that they stand to this day with all this symbology that comes from satanic symbology. So if it kind of walks like a duck and talks like a duck, I mean, if all this symbology is there and they're the bad guys, well, perhaps Satan is the bad guy too. And the thing is, see, if these Satanists, and I'll probably drill down a little bit further, and European kind of nationalists types, if their gods, that are not Yahweh, if their gods are so powerful and true, why has this evil god Yahweh, who's in control of the who's, why have they got so much power over these Europeans with these magnificent hammer throwing lightning bolt type gods? Why if their God is true and right, why haven't they got the power over the people that follow this, this Yahweh God. Okay, and they might say, "Oh, but yeah, well, we kicked their butt 109 times, and we, whatever." But see, they're just laughing at you because they might have kicked their butt out of one country here or there, but it's like when you've got a snail and you touch his little eye, and the eye little goes in, but then it comes back out again. You see, every time they kick these guys out, you touch the snail's eye, the little snail, you touch it on, it goes in for a bit, and then it comes back out. It goes in and it comes back out. So they might have kicked them out of their countries here and there, but they're always going on over here and over there. So, if their gods are so good, why have these people that follow this other god always had so much power over them? And why do they have all this power over them today? And on that note, you find that most of these countries that kick these people out, and fair enough that they did, followed Jesus. They might not have been doing it properly or whatever, but most of them were Christian nations that kicked them out. Okay, if you think about it, even back in 1933, it's a known fact that Hitler wanted to keep things Christianized and not Judaized, and he saw socialism or communism as the opposing force. And which brings me to my point that if these gods of Europe, okay, are so good and so powerful, where is the alternative to socialism, to communism? Where is their alternative? Okay, because they don't have one. If they did, and if their gods are so powerful, socialism and communism would be losing. The reason it is losing is because people have walked away from the true message of Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Isn't it just common sense that the things that are true, they want to twist and claim for their own in that twisted form, whether it be Abraham and Moses with Judaism, or Christian Zionism, or the 501c3 churches with Christianity, or the Catholic Church, for goodness sake, God forbid. Okay, doesn't that make sense that these obviously evil institutions have hijacked and counterfeited and are the imposters of the true message of Abraham, Moses, and Jesus? And back to the point that if communism is the physical manifestation of this, and I'll call it satanic ideology, okay, it's what Abraham, Moses, and Jesus said that are the alternative, and it's easy to see, and that's what we show at Preparing You. We have books there that expose the true message of these three men that we read about in the Bible. And if you read these books, you'll see that the message that they had was an anti-communist message, because at the root of communism, okay, is force, and it's it starts off with democracy, okay, then it goes a bit further, socialism does, and then it turns into communism, and it's all about a few people at the top ruling everybody else, and all the people in the society ruling over each other. The 51% gets to rule over the 49. Okay, that's all Kabbalistic. It's got nothing to do with what Abraham, Moses, and Jesus were saying. Okay, these guys were saying that it's not right to rule over your neighbour. That's why Jesus said, love your neighbour, not rule over your neighbour. And what he was doing was setting up an alternative system that was bound by love and charity and faith and hope, where the needy of society, if there were any, and there always will be, were looked after from a foundation of charity, where men retained the right to choose how much they gave. No other men ruled over them to force them to pay tax. Okay, because they didn't need that, because they were responsible. So ultimately, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus teaches us about personal and societal responsibility. That's the key. If someone's forcing you to do something like how much tax you have to pay, you're not free. You're in bondage. Okay, so Jesus came to show a system where nobody forced you what to pay. You decided what to pay because you're the king. You see? And you're the God. He said, ye are gods. You maintain the right to choose and rule over your own lives. Okay? And all you have to do is love righteousness and love your neighbour as yourself, and everything else will take care of itself. So I just think a lot of these Satanists have thrown the baby out with the bathwater. They're arguing against the straw man, which is the narrative that Satan has put out there to divert the truth away, or the people away from the truth that Jesus, and since the beginning of time, but Jesus really came to crystallize and show about how to set up a society where every man is free. Okay, so go to Preparing You. There's books there. Okay, if you read those books, you'll see that the plan of Christ is so much more detailed and is such a much more comprehensive solution to anything you'll read on a satanic website or a Satanist's website. And I'm not judging these people. I think, that once again, Satan is a very brilliant being and he will tell you a lot of truth. But if he takes people away from what Abraham, Moses, and Jesus were really saying, he takes people away from the ultimate truth and the ultimate solution to communism. So go to Preparing You. I'll see you there. And until next time, peace.